Anybody? Anybody?
We're having the test next week, right?
Yes, it's not a test. Let's not call it as a test. It's a practice day for us, where we will be sitting. I won't be saying much. I will just send you a questions list, basically. That these are the questions. You will solve it and then just simply give it back. Is that fine? It's a practice day. And the purpose of the practice day is to solve at least few questions from each topic we have covered. It could be 15 questions in total. It could be 20 days in questions or 25 questions. And I will keep on giving you hints also. It's like you are practicing in front of me. That's all.
Wait, is it today? I thought it was next week.
No. It is going to be next week.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, it will be like some random questions, maybe from your worksheets, maybe from some other sources, but that will be like a questions, set of questions, basically. Okay. And you will solve it and you will produce, okay, this is what I have done. Okay. It is a practice day, guys. And I want to see how you are progressing, how you are doing. Are you doing too much of? So guys, let me give you an example. Let me give an example of why I'm keeping it as a practice day. And this is something that you should actually focus at. There was a student, okay. If somebody isn't from Delaware, he will probably understand like the Wilmington Charter. It's a very highly ranked school over here in Delaware, right? I had a student who used to be like very knowledgeable. Like whenever I'm asking question, he's always jumping on and asking, okay, sir, this is what it is and this is how it is. So I know this, I can do this and that. Okay. But I used to keep like a practice test also before. He always used to score like 6 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10, maybe. But he never used to cross that. I thought like if the student is knowing so much of things, why he is not able to actually score very high? Then when I looked at the paper, he is always doing some silly mistakes toward that. He's always doing. And then I asked like what is going on. He said that I keep myself very high expectations. Okay. So in the rush hour of like always getting a high score that I want to do 10 out of 10 and everything, I rush up the things and then I do silly mistakes. So then I started a little bit of counseling with him saying, okay, don't expect yourself always. If you keep a target of like 10 out of 10 every time I will do, you will not be able to. It depends on the paper. It depends on the standard that you have learned with. So if you target like that 10 out of 10 every time, then it will not work. But otherwise, after 1 or 2 questions you are not able to do, you will get tensed. Once you are tensed, your paper is going to spoil. So these are the important things that I am trying to figure out. One other guy, he used to get lost in between. And the reason is he had a very, very bad handwriting. Means he is doing some steps. Okay. And then when he go back to the same thing, okay, after he completes 5 questions, he makes it like, okay, I'm not able to do it right now. I will come back. But once he comes back and revisits, he's not able to understand his own handwriting. And then he is not able to cover it that, okay, I have done till half of this. Let me try this method that way, this way. No, he is not able to because his handwriting is so scattered. He is doing all over here and there. These are the things, guys, I'm telling you. These things affects a lot. So I want to see like how is your working pattern? How do you work on something? That's all my intention of check is. Okay. Is that something that makes sense to you people? Yes or no? Some comments, anything?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So guys, I'm telling you, this is an added, effort for me. And trust me, in the past, whenever I have done it, I individually email to each student, individually, that this is what my suggestion to you. Sometimes I had a talk also. Okay. Especially when your score is like 2, 3 out of 10, maybe 3, 4 out of 20, then we'll have to understand what's going on. Are you in a good learning pattern? You are not in a good learning pattern. What's going on? How can we make the improvement? So that test is to identify where you stand. What are the things what are the gaps, that are coming in between your good score. Okay, so take it as a practice day. Don't take it as a practice test. Okay, I won't be telling your score to any of your parents unless and until you tell me. Yes, of course, if it is like 2 or 3 number, then I'll be like little worried. Then I can't say anything. If in case ask me to go and reach out to parents and like that, and stop that. Okay, so that being done, anybody has any questions? Okay. Now, what I think we closed trigonometry last time or no? Or was it inequalities that we closed?
Inequalities.
We closed inequalities. And I believe that we closed inequalities completely, or there was something that was hanging around. We closed the last time we closed, I think, the absolute value inequality. Is it so? Conjunction, disjunction, everything.
Yeah.
We reviewed that again. Last time.
What? We
Last
will?
time we reviewed it.
You reviewed it? Okay. So is there anyone who thinks that inequality is still not strong? Is there anyone who thinks that we have any issues with inequalities so far we have covered? I can tell you this much, guys, the way we have covered inequalities, if it is coming in algebra 2, if it is coming in any other course for yourself, you are already good. You have got a very strong base created for yourself. Okay. Does anybody has any issues? I want to see like
I have some.
Yes, Ishan, go ahead. Tell me what is you want to ask questions? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just have some issues with inequalities.
Yes. What are the things that is not clear? Tell me. Feel free to tell me.
Sometimes the sign traverse, like whenever you switch the sign when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative.
Okay. There you go. You have already answered yourself. When is the sign going to change? There are very few scenarios. When you are having an inequality, you are multiplying something with negative. Sign will change. When you have an inequality, you are dividing something with a negative number, negative real number, negative anything. Then the sign will change. Okay. These two are most important ones. Another thing is addition of inequality only can happen when they have the same sign. Subtraction of the inequality can happen when they have opposites. Are we all clear with that rule? Anybody?
Yeah.
Are we all clear with those rules?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So guys, I will recommend something to you. If you have not taken the notes on the rules that we have discussed on the board, please ask any of your friend over here and they can post in the chat. I have not kept it. Okay. So they can post in the chat. Keep those rules handy with you. Every now and then, whenever you work for math, just open those rules, that what I have learned. I'm telling you, if you're not getting much time for like practicing things, that rules page will be very handy for you. That itself will be very good. Like a sign, kind of like a notes, 2-page notes, inequalities rules. That's it. You write it for 2 pages in any of your laptop you want to store, notepad you want to store, anything. That will be really handy for you. That will work like amazing. Okay. Suchan, you are the one. Suchan, is there anything that you think that it's not good? Was that Suchan that we were talking about? Anything anybody feels that we are not rock solid on inequalities, because it's a bigger topic that we are closing. So I want to make sure that no, everybody is absolutely clear. Yes, no, yes, no. Okay, so I'm closing this inequality altogether.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Okay, thank you, Susan. I'm closing inequality altogether. Okay. We have covered functions, right? Fully we have covered functions. No, yes. Functions algebra, f of g. People
Okay.
remember that, or they have already forgot it?
Yeah, we have covered it.
We have already covered that. Okay. We have already covered how the functions algebra works. Yes. And we have made ourselves aware about domain, range, everything nicely. As people
Yeah.
still remembers that, or
Yeah.
no? Or it's like shady now, sir. I'm kind of like, oh, it's been 2 months. Anybody has that feeling? Please let me know. Anybody has that kind of feeling, sir? I am kind of like not so sure now because I forgot. It's been many days. Anybody?
I didn't fully forget it, but I thought it might be nice because I'm like at that stage of just about forgetting it.
Yes. But sir, please try to understand. Keeping it in your mind is your responsibility. I cannot have an injection, just put it inside your brain, and it can be like all mathematics simply, inserted. That cannot happen. So yes, it's very normal that it's about a stage that you will start forgetting. But sir, we have to cover the entire syllabus also. Please keep yourself in culture. That's all I can say. Keep your notes, rule books in handy with you. You will not forget. I'm telling you will not forget. And only thing I used to do is whenever I had some kind of class, I used to actually come back, write down my own notes, and then keep it in my diaries. That's all. So I would recommend that you should do something so that you yourself remember your version, not anybody else's version. Remember your version, not anybody else. Okay. But yes, we will do timely revisions. And one of the things that we are doing is the practice day. That will help you for keeping the things continuously in your mind. And we will discuss those questions also. Every time I'm going to give you the hint that this is how it should be solved. You will solve it. You will again gain those back. Okay. So guys, if nobody has any issues, I want to start linear coordinate geometry. I hope we have not covered that. Is there anyone who thinks that I don't think we have covered it? Is there anyone who thinks that we should not start linear coordinate geometry or something? Linear coordinate geometry is another, like I should say, fairly tougher area. Basically, we have to understand certain rules and keep those in mind and then work on it. Now, how many of you remembers my linear coordinate geometry class from the workshop which you initially attended? Anybody who remembers that? If you remember that, if majority of people remembers that, then I will skip that topic. But please be honest. Please be very, very honest.
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay. One person says kind of. Okay. I am again asking. I had covered linear coordinate geometry. Okay. In one of the workshop days when we started initially. So many of you are on that zone where I should say, like, you might have come from some other referrals, maybe from Facebook, maybe from Google. So you might not have attended the workshop at all. So I want to understand if somebody remembers the linear coordinate geometry from my workshop, so that I don't waste time here. If you guys remember, I don't have to repeat that. Y equals to mx plus c.
I don't think I remember that.
Okay. Yes, please call out. I don't remember. That's all. Yes, Arushi, what was that?
I didn't come to the workshop.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's some folks who did not know about that topic.
I don't even know if I joined the workshop at all.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's what I want to get. Thank you. Thank you for all your comments, guys. Pranati, Sampath, Samhita, how about you guys?
I don't remember most of the stuff.
I don't think I joined the workshop.
Okay. Okay. Suchand, you already answered, right? Nihita, Janatri?
I remember. I
You
didn't attend
remember?
that workshop.
What was that, Janatri? You did not
I
attend?
didn't attend that one.
Oh, you did not, or you attended?
I didn't.
Okay. Akash, how about you?
Yeah, I remember most of it. I think there's like some bits that I might forget, but I think I got the gist of it.
Okay.
Wait, are you
Okay,
talking
guys.
about the workshop in like the starting of the class where you talked about circles.
No circles. I'm talking about linear coordinate geometry. Y equals to mx plus c, m1, m2 equals to -1 and all those.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember attending that one, Ikshita?
I don't, but I might have. I probably might
Okay.
have.
Okay. So at any point of time, you guys feel that, sir, I am able to recollect, I know all these things, then we will not waste too much time. I will raise the standard of that topic and then we'll close. Linear coordinate geometry is something that I'm going to start right now. And please, again, I repeat, please keep your own notes. Please try to remember the basics of it, because when I discuss the theory, it's all aligned to what comes inside. I'm not teaching anything extra. Okay. I am teaching extra in some cases where you need or the knowledge is connected. Then I will raise the bar a little. Okay. Otherwise, I'm not giving you any PhD or thesis knowledge over. So please keep those theoretical, conceptual knowledge with yourself. Feel free to call out, sir. Please move aside. I want to take a snapshot. Take a snapshot, keep it in your system. Write down linear coordinate geometry folder. This is my snapshot. Okay. What was that? Okay, sir has taught this thing. That's it. So you will be able to recollect. Okay. So, or make your own notes, keep a diary pen. See, I still work on notepad and diary like this. Okay. So if there is something like that, you please follow that. Okay. Linear coordinate geometry. Any basics you guys remember? Any basics? Starting with straight line. What does the straight line mean for us? What does a straight line mean for us? What is an equation of a straight line? What it represents? Okay, these are the few things that starts with the linear coordinate. Okay, now in a two-dimensional space. Okay, when you talk about two-dimensional space, what are we talking about? We are talking about x-axis and y-axis. Okay, in this two-dimensional space, everything is represented by coordinate points. For example, this is a dot. This is a point. Now, when we talk about this point, you will say, sir, how do I represent this dot? That I am picking up this dot only. I will say, sir, this is 1, 2, 3. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this becomes three units towards the x and 6 units towards the y. So you will say this coordinate point is 3, 6. Okay. So in x and y axis system, we represent everything in coordinate. All right, good. Okay. Now I will take this as a point and then I will drag this towards this side and I will drag this towards this. And I will say this is my A, B. Okay, this becomes a straight line. Now you ask me, sir, I want to represent all of these dots over here. Okay, all these dots over here with something. I want to represent all the dots that are there. These dots are basically coordinate points. Coordinate points. With something, by some representation. Then what we do? I will say the solution is to get the equation of a straight line. What is that? Equation of a straight line. That is why we call it equation of a straight line. What it will do? Let's say I find that this straight line is represented by 5x minus y. 5x minus y equals to 10. Now what it is representing? This equation. Yes, Sujan, go ahead.
Isn't it representing standard slope form? And if you just use a slope, you can get your answer.
Yes. We will come to that, how to find the equation. First of all, we are trying to understand what it represents. It represents all the coordinate points that can lie on this straight line. It represents all the coordinate points that can lie on that straight line. What it will not represent? It will not represent something which is here. This it will not represent. Okay. So straight line we understand. We understand what is straight line equation. We understand what is coordinate point. Okay. These all basics we understood. Okay. Now, let's try to understand few more basics before we come to this straight line. If we have a point called x1 and this is x2. Okay, these are 2 points, x1, x2. And I say that I want to find out what is exactly the midpoint between x1 and x2. Let's say this is the midpoint. What it is representing? It's representing midpoint. What is the midpoint? Okay. So x1 is a coordinate point. Please note. If I have to say that you are standing here and I am standing here, what is the midpoint? And we are 10 kilometers apart. Okay, we are 10 kilometers apart or 10 miles apart. Let me put it in some US system over here. Okay, 10 miles. I'll ask you, how much we are apart? You'll say, sir, we are apart by 5 miles. So this is the midpoint. This becomes the midpoint. Okay, midpoint is what? Exactly at the 5 miles. This is the midpoint here. 5 and 5. But this is not coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry, I am asking how to get the midpoint of certain things. Certain things means certain things with the 2 coordinate points. I want to find the midpoint. Okay. In that case, my first formula goes like this. Midpoint is my first learning. Midpoint, I will find. Okay. X1 is the coordinate point here, and that is x2. Let's assume that x1 has coordinate point as m1, m2, and x2 as m3, m4. So the midpoint, let's say midpoint is equals to m1 plus m3 by 2 and m2 plus m4 by 2. Now, if I want to take an example, let's say this is -1 and 1, okay, and this is 10 over 12, okay. This is -1, 1, and this is 10 over 12. So this becomes -1, 1, and this is 10, 12. So my midpoint is -1 plus 10 over 2 by 1 plus 12 over 2. Is that fair enough? Clear? No, yes, yes, no.
There's another way we did it before.
Yes.
Yeah, it was basically instead of doing it the way you showed it, we would do y1 and x2 and then y1 x1 and then x2 and y2. It would be the same thing, but basically how it works is one of the values is 1 and then the other value is 1. Like for x1 it could be -1 and then xy could be 1. It would be negative, it would be y, x minus y, x1 minus x, y. Here, I can't, it's a little bit hard to explain for this, but it's a really simple process.
Okay. So here is the thing, Sijan. Midpoint has a very, very simple and straight cut way. It's the average of x coordinate. This is your x coordinate. So you did the x coordinate average. Average of y coordinate. Y coordinate is m2 and m4. Y coordinate you took it here, divided by 2. There is nothing that can be simpler than this. Do you think anybody can think? I don't think there is anything simpler than this. Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
Midpoint is nothing but is the x coordinates average -1, 10 by 2. 1, 12, 2. I don't think there could be anything simpler than this. I think if there is any other thing, then it is more complicated. Okay. Are we clear about the midpoint formula? Yes and no?
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
clear. Pranati, Satvik, Samita, Sampan. Okay. Now,
Yes.
another challenging part to this problem is if there is an x1 over here, this point, and there is an x2 over here. Okay. I want to see a coordinate point. I want to find out a coordinate point x1 and between x1 and x2, which divides this x1 and x2 length, this total length, x1 and x2, total length in terms of 4 equal parts. So I want to find out something here, which is whatever m1, m2. Let's call it out like m3. I want to call out m3. What is m3? M3 represents a coordinate point which is dividing my line segment between x1 and x2 in 3:1 ratio. Means this is one part and this is 3 part. For example, if you are not able to understand it very clearly, this is x1, okay, and this is x2. I am trying to find out something here which is m3, which is in the ratio of 1:3. Earlier, my concept was I am trying to find out midpoint. But now I am trying to find out this particular coordinate point here, okay, which is dividing this line in the ratio of 1:3. So this is one part and this is 3 times of that. Am I making sense here?
Yes.
Okay. Haren, are you clear? Satvik, are you clear? Question is clear?
Yes.
Diti Kumar, is the question clear?
Yeah, I just have one small thing. In the top in the midpoint formula, you said m1 plus m2 over m2.
Okay. This is I think m1 plus m3. Sorry, this is m1 plus m3.
Yeah.
Very good. Good pointing out. M1 plus m3, m2 plus m3. Very good. Aditi Thota, you have any concerns? Aditi Thota, question is clear.
I understand.
Nihita, are you following?
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay. Suchand, you are following. Janatri, are you following?
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, a
Right.
small question. Are we trying to
Yes.
find the like the coordinate planes, like all of them, or are we trying to find out what the line is?
I want to find out the coordinate point of M3 only.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Anybody has any thoughts? Akash, you are following.
Yes, I'm following.
Haren, you are following. You are there.
If m3 is exactly 1/4 of the total distance, then can't you do midpoint and then midpoint again?
I'll come back to you, Aditi. Thank you. Good comments. Others, please, any comments? I want to find out M3, coordinate point of M3. What should I do? Yes. Anybody? Haren, any comments? Harshini, any comments? Akash?
I think I would agree with what she said. Like find the midpoint between x1 and there, and then find the midpoint between the first one and then the
Okay.
midpoint of the last one.
Okay.
I would do as well. Find the
Yes,
middle.
Harshini?
That's
Please
what
be a
I
little
would do.
louder.
That's what I
Okay,
would do as
very
well. Find the middle and then find the middle of that again.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So yes, guys, this is a very good idea here. What would you do? This was actually a SAT question before. Okay. What would you do is an intelligent approach is you find the midpoint between x1 and x2. By what? By using the midpoint formula. Midpoint formula you will use. Okay. And you get this here. Here you will get. For example, you are getting this as let's say 2, 3. And this is -1, 1, something like that. Okay. You will take these 2 coordinate points again. Okay. Using these 2 coordinate points, this is coordinate number 1 and this is coordinate number 2. You will again find a midpoint which will come here. Or this is the one which will come. So eventually what you are getting M3 but with two steps. First of all, you take these two, find the midpoint. Then you take this and this, use the midpoint formula, you will get this. Is that clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, no, no, yes. Bhumika, are you clear?
I'm clear.
Okay, Arushi,
Yeah.
Satvik, Suchand,
Yes, I'm clear.
Gita, are you
Yeah,
clear? How
clear.
am I finding this? Okay,
Yeah.
now there is a question here. You may ask me, sir, what if I have to find? Yes, go ahead, Aditi.
In our school, for the midpoint formula, we actually use x and y. So for x1 it'll be x1 y1 and then x2 y2, and then instead of m's we just use x's
Yes,
and y's.
that is also true, Aditi. There is no change in the version that you have learned. Instead of m1 m2, you take it x1 y. Is as same thing. You can make it w1 w2, you can make it alpha beta, whatever you want. It's just for understanding purpose that how the midpoint is coming. Okay, in books I see that it is x1 and y1, x2 y2 written.
Yeah, that might be what the other person was talking about, the more like straightforward method. It's just you label it differently.
Yes, is the labeling is different. There's no, you don't have to learn by heart x1 plus y1 by 2, nothing like that. If you remember, it's an average of x coordinate, average of y coordinate will give me midpoint, and you are done. Okay, thanks for bringing it up. Now, yes, Ishan, you have something?
I don't really understand this midpoint like concept. Well, I mean, I know like the formula and all, but like I want to get a better understanding of it.
In what sense? You are not able to understand how I am finding it, or what is this midpoint all about?
Yeah, but like, how would this like practically work? I want to see practical examples.
Practical example? Yes, of course. If you take this as -1, so this coordinate point is -1 1, and this as 10 12, your actual answer is going to be here as 4.5, and 13 means 2 6 the 12 6.5. Okay, so 4.5 and 6.5 is the midpoint of this line. Now, if you want like some real practical proof, you really have to take a graph. It's nothing wrong. Your question is very legitimate, Ishan. You take a graph paper and then draw that same line that we had talked about, and kind of guess it like where the midpoint should lie, and see if it coincides with this formula. It will. I can tell you this. It will. You have to, if you want to practically see that, then you have to really sit with the graph paper. Okay, makes sense, Ishan? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Please do try that. Okay. Now comes the other thing is, you can ask me, sir, today we did 4 parts to it. What if I want to find a coordinate point which makes that straight line divided in the ratio of 1:4? Means 5 parts. How would we do that? For example, if I have the same line x1 and x2, okay, this line is like this, and I want to divide this entire line in the ratio of 3:4 or 5:1. How would you do that? Today what we did is just simply midpoint. Midpoint means what? 1:1 ratio. And then this one is 4. That means we did 3:1 or 1:3 ratio. This is 1:3 ratio. We found this first. We found this first. Second time. We had a way. What if this kind of ratios comes into picture? That I want a coordinate point which divides that line segment in these ratios. Then getting one midpoint, getting to another midpoint, and then jumping onto this will not work. Do we all understand the problem statement here? Or should I repeat?
Yeah, I understood the problem.
Do we all understand the problem statement here?
Can you please repeat it?
Yes. When we found the midpoint of something, that midpoint gave us the line segments division in the ratio, equal ratio, which is 1:1. Equal ratio, because it's a midpoint, right? 1:1 is the ratio. When we worked out, like, I want this M3, which is dividing the line segment in 4 parts, basically, like one ratio, and this is 3 times. That means what? This is 1/4 of the part. This is 1/4, and then the rest is 3 parts, right? 1:3 ratio. Then what we did? We got the midpoint, and then again applied the midpoint formula to get this one. So finally, this coordinate point will divide this entire line segment in the ratio of 1:3. 1:3. So we did those also. Later on, if I ask that I want 5:1 or 3:4, then this midpoint fundamentals will not work. Is the statement clear to you all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the statement clear to all? Neeta, Janatri.
Yes. Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Haren. Is the statement clear to you?
Yes, the statement is clear.
Okay. Now, I will stop it here. I want to tell you, the only thing, the reason I bought it, there is a specific formula in linear coordinate geometry to find coordinate points. Please hear me out carefully. There is a specific formula in linear coordinate geometry to find specific coordinate points which will divide the line segment in the desired ratio. Whatever ratio you say, and you want to find out the coordinate point for that, there is a particular formula. I remember the formula. If I put it, there is no meaning. It is a little higher standard. I don't want to put it. But there is a way to find it. Okay. Everybody gets the clarification, please? Yes or no? Everybody gets the clarification? No, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is possible. That you say, sir, I want to divide this line segment into 1:7. And I want to find out which coordinate point will make this division of 1:7. Then there is a formula to directly find out the coordinate point. Directly. Not like doing midpoints and then midpoints and then and this and that. No, there is a definite way getting it directly evaluated. There is a formula in the. Okay. Anybody wants to take a snapshot, please do so.
Sorry, can I take another minute to take a screenshot?
Next important discussion. Collinear points. Collinear points. Anybody knows about collinear points, please? And also, I'm going to rub the board, guys. If you have anything, please do. Please take a snapshot. You want to take a snapshot, please do so. Anybody remembers about what is collinear points, guys? Anybody? Anybody has any hint on what is collinear points, please?
Points that lie on the same line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody has any other additional inputs? Any other inputs for
Like
collinear
what?
points?
That are like on the same, like, that come under the same formula.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Collinear points are those points which lie on the same straight line. Very good. Okay.
And they also have to be 3 or more points.
3 or more. Very good. They have to be 3 or more. Very good. Why 3 or more? Why can't it be 2?
Because then they could just be the endpoints.
Yes, very good. Very good answer. Because any 2 points can make a straight line. But for the third point to lie on that is something that we have to figure it. Then only you can conclude, okay, these are linear, collinear points. Okay. Now collinear points, let's get started. Before collinear points, let's understand the concept of slope. How many of you heard of this word slope? Slope of a straight line.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, I have.
I have.
Okay, let me ask another way. How many of you haven't heard about slope at all? I say, sir, I have not studied in the class. That's just totally fine. I will explain you, or else I will skip. I have no problems explaining it, but let me know if somebody has not heard about slope. In quick thing, slope is, you all have studied, sir, slope is equals to rise over run. Okay. Rise over run means what? Y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1.
There's one more.
Yes. Go ahead, tell me.
It's the standard form. Y equals. I mean, yeah. Y equals.
Mx plus c.
Yeah.
Now we are not there on the equation of the straight line. We are not there. We are going over some fundamentals. We got midpoint studies. We got what is the fundamental idea of linear coordinate geometry. These that. Now we are going to collinear. We have not stepped on actual straight line equations. So hold on to that. Okay. Anybody has anything? Okay. So we are trying to get what does slope means first. Rise over run is okay. Fine. I have got like rise over run and all. It's totally okay. Important question is, what does slope basically means? What it is, what it represents.
It represents how much gap there is between two coordinate lines or two collinear.
Very, 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 very close. Very, very close. Anybody else? Okay. Now that we have learned coordinate geometry, we are learning coordinate geometry and trigonometry also. I will give you a very good idea about slope. And the next two statements that I'm going to say is very, very important. A slope represents a number, a decimal number, or like integer, anything. It represents a number somehow, a real number, basically, negative, positive, whatever. That number, that real number denotes how much that straight line is inclined towards x-axis. That is what slope means. So what did I say? It's a real number which represents how much that straight line is inclined towards x-axis. Okay. Now, taking this as an example, let's say this is my AB. AB is my straight line. The slope of this straight line will be a real number, negative, positive, something like that. And it will represent what? It will represent how much it is inclined towards x-axis. That is the actual meaning of slope. So then question arises, sir, why can't we actually use angle itself then? Angle is a good measurement. What is the problem? If it is 30 degree, as per your definition, 30 degree is the inclined angle towards the x-axis, then we are done.
Couldn't the y be anything? Then you would have a specific y-intercept if you had 30-degree angle.
Yes, yes. That's also true. But slope doesn't work that way. And there is some deep down theory inside it. Slope is not an angle. I repeat, if this angle, let's say this angle I'm talking about, this is, let's say, 45 degree. Okay. So why can't the slope is equals to 45 degree? What is the problem? Because as I said, slope represents how much that axis is inclined towards the, how much that straight line is inclined towards the axis. So the 45 degree inclination is there. Now, what is the problem, sir? But it doesn't work that way. But
it's not in a straight line.
it's not a straight line. No, it is actually a straight line. X-axis is a straight line, and I'm talking about an imaginary AB straight line.
No matter, but how do you know which straight line you're talking about if you only say 45 degrees?
Yes. 45 degrees do not represent slope. You will not be able to know that what straight line you are talking about. Of course, that is true. But a straight line which will have 45 degrees can be here, 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 here, so many things. But only the slope component. We are talking about the slope component. We are not talking about any coordinate component. If I say this is 45 degree, another one is a straight line, which also has a 45 degree. What is the problem? Slope can still be 45 degree. What is the problem? I will say this coordinate point passes through 3, 6. This coordinate passes through some other thing. And we'll find out the straight line equation. What is the problem?
They can have different slopes.
They can have different slopes? No. They are parallel lines. They can have same slopes. This is 45 degree. This one is also 45. What is wrong in the diagram? It is all clear.
So you're going to have infinite number of lines that are possible for the same solution. Like you can't have
that case is same even for slope.
45 degrees doesn't even matter in the situation. You could just solve it without it. There's no need for it.
No, 45 degree. My question here is simple. Why we have to go for slope rise finding out like this? When the definition says that it represents inclination. Slope is what? It's a representation of inclination
we don't
of
really
a straight
use
line
degrees when
against x-axis.
when we
Why
go
can't
on
you
to the equation,
angles?
we don't really use the degrees.
Yeah, we don't use it, right? We don't use it. Okay. Yes, I agree to that. That's what I'm trying to explain. We don't use degrees to represent a slope, but the definition says that I slope represent how much the straight line is inclined towards the x-axis. So inclination means only the angle will come into picture. Why are we finding out this and that and all this? There is a specific reason behind it.
It doesn't need to be inclination. It could also be the other way, since it's
Yes.
going.
Yes. I'll come to that. That relationship I'm going to tell you. Okay. Now that relation is slope is represented. This whole thing is represented by a small m. It is just a notation. There is nothing to it. It whole thing is represented by rise over run is represented by something called m. Small m means we are talking about slope. Now this small m has a relation which is here. M equals to tangent of the angle which is theta. If you have this theta, okay, you can find out what is the actual slope value. Now, since we all have studied trigonometry, okay, I will explain you something. If you have x and y axis and there is a straight line just exactly like this and making a 45 degree angle here, okay, and passing through 3, 3, okay. If you want to find out the slope of this straight line, you would say m, which is the slope, is equals to tangent of the angle 45 degree. And tangent of angle 45 degree is equals to nothing but, if you remember our values, it is 1. So the slope of this straight line equals to 1. And if you want to go by another route, which is rise over run, let's do it. In this particular scenario, since this is passing through the origin, this is 0, 0. Okay. I will take this point and I will take this point. I will say rise over run is equals to y2 minus y1 x2 minus x1, which is, let's take it as x2 y2, and let's take this as x1 y1. Okay, y2 minus y1 means 3 minus 0. x2 minus x1 means 3 minus 0, which becomes 3 by 3, which also becomes 1. You do rise over run, you are getting a value. If you do m equals to tan of 45 degree, tangent 45 degree, you will also get the same value.
So I have a small question.
Yes, Suchan, go ahead.
So I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but can they use slope when we're trying to solve tan? Or does it only work that tan can solve slope?
Tan can give you slope. Don't try to solve tan by having m, because it will not be asked in your examiner. Don't go very well.
Okay.
This can be a SAT question, that you have been given a 45 degree angle and you have been given one, basically just one coordinate point, which is 3, 3. Equation to the straight line is 1, 2, 3, 4. Equation to the straight line. Now I will make it a little more complicated. I will say this is,
that.
yes, we will come to again come. This is 30 degree. Angle is 30 degree. Coordinate point is 3, 3. Okay. Okay. And question is, what is the, how do you find like a slope? For example, slope, just let's say slope, or maybe I should say, you know what? Let's not keep 0, 0 here to make it more complicated. Let's not keep 0, 0. I am keeping it this way. This way. It is passing through, let's say, 2 and 3, 2, 3, making an angle of, let's say, 30 degree. Slope of this straight line equals to what? A, B, C, D. I don't believe this can come, but I mean, if SAT is a little becomes a complicated, and try out, problem is in front of you. I'm not asking any straight line equation and all. I've given you a coordinate point. I will give you a 30 degree angle that straight line is making. I'm asking the slope of this straight line. A, B, C, D options are given. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever value, minus 1, 0, whatever. And you get stuck. Because why you are getting stuck? Because you have learned that slope is equal to rise and run, rise over run. You never learned any other version. What I taught you, m equals to tan of theta. You can also get it from their version. Now somebody can correlate what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's easier to use slope.
It's not. I'm trying to find out slope. It may you can use this m equals to tan of theta, which means I will simply say I don't need this. I don't need. I need m equals to tan, slope is equals to tan of 30 degree. That's it. Tan of 30 degree is what? 1 over root 3. Okay. So whatever one of the root 3 option is, you will click on this and you get full marks. Done. You want to try out? Try out. That again you have to jot down in some paper and all. Okay. Take 2 sample, but it will always work. So what we learned is m represent slope. Totally got it. What is m definition? It is a real number that represents inclination towards x-axis. Clear. But why it is not an angle? It doesn't work like that. It cannot be an angle. Slope is not actually 45 degrees. It is actually a number. But then when the number is coming, it's the tangent of the angle which the straight line makes with the x-axis only. then you will get the real value, which is m. So that relationship is. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Am I clear or no? No clear. As a trial, I have shown you here that if you have a straight line that was going through the origin and has this coordinate point, you are getting the same value by using rise over run, what you will get by using tangent. This formula. Today it is 60-degree angle, you still be able to find it. And trust me, since it is included in your SAT, trigonometry is included. So if tomorrow, if they give you this problem, make it like a 60-degree, okay, and a coordinate point, and ask you what is the slope of this straight line, they can very much give you. It's not like, oh sir, this is not out of syllabus. No, it is not out of syllabus. It's just to know that how the relationship is working. Am I making sense here or no?
Yes.
Some people are quiet, they are lost. Somebody wants to say, sir, I'm not liking coordinate geometry.
What is M in this case?
What is
M in this case?
M? Okay, somebody wants to explain, Ishan, what is M?
There's always slope.
M is just like a small notation, Ishan. It's just like slope representation. Now, coming to a very basic how a straight line equation is written. 3x plus 2y equals to 5 is a straight line equation. 5x minus y equals to 10 is a straight line equation. 7x minus 5y equals to minus 3 is a straight line equation. 10x minus y equals to 9 is a straight line equation. Y equals to 2 is a straight line equation. Y equals to minus 5 is a straight line equation. X is equals to 5 is a straight line equation. X is equals to y minus 2 is a straight line equation. X is equals to 6 is a straight line equation. Do we all agree that these are straight line equation, or there is something that I've written wrong? Somewhere I've written wrong.
I think
The ones that are like that say y equals 2 and y equals -5, those stuff, they're not exactly, well, never mind. They are straight. They're just not diagonal. They're just up and down or left and right. So never mind. Yeah, all of them are, right?
Aren't the x equals undefined?
X is equals to undefined?
No, it would
I'm
be.
not.
No, it would be it wouldn't be undefined.
It would be vertical. It would either be vertical or
Like the
horizontal.
slope would be undefined, right?
So do we all agree that these are straight lines? These are
Yeah,
straight
the
line
slope
equations.
would be undefined for x equals.
Yeah, no, it's the slope would be undefined, but undefined in this case means
Yeah, straight line.
vertical or horizontal. So
Well, I mean, horizontal wouldn't be undefined, it's just vertical.
yeah.
Okay, with all conclusion that you guys said, do we all agree that these represent straight line equations? Or no?
Yes.
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 X is equals to 2, X is equals to 6 that I've written. What would be the slope for this case? I don't know.
Undefined.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be like a diagonal line. It would be like a straight line.
It would be a
just
vertical
on Y.
line.
Okay.
Vertical line.
Now, okay, good approach. All these equations, first of all, represent the straight line for sure. Unless you make it a square or y square, that's where things will be wrong. As long as x and y are in power of 1, either together, which is together means this, or single-handed like this, okay, or single-handed like this, they all represent straight line. In this particular, when you see this, surprisingly, in math books, you will see that the standard form is written in a different way. That standard form is what? Y equals to mx plus c. This is the standard form.
Plus B, not plus C.
Plus B. Let's see B. Okay. This is the standard form. Now people get confused. Sir, this is a straight line. This is like this. How does it correlate? Yes, it correlates.
This is the intercept form and the other one.
This is the intercept form. This is the first thing that you learn. That, sir, this is the intercept form and it represents a straight line. Now, in normal ways, we write the straight line equation like this. In intercept form, I will transfer the same situation. I will make it like 2y equals to minus 3x plus 5. And then I divide the entire equation by 2. Then becomes y equals to minus 3 by 2 and 5 by 2. So in normal scenarios, we write the equations like this. But in intercept form, which is the most common form, okay, we write it like this. So don't get confused, guys. The only thing is when you write the normal scenario, you keep x and y together and all these things. But in the standard intercept form, that the starting point of the learning, you always keep things like this. Why you do that is because when you put this straight line equation or this straight line equation in this form, good part is it gives you the slope value immediately. How does it give the slope value? You see, this is m, this is c, this is b value. The slope value is just in front of it. That is why it is easier to get. That's all the advantage we get. Okay?
You also get a starting value, like where
Starting
to
value
start.
also we get, right? Okay. So now, guys, what are we going to do in the next class is we are going to see what are the formulas for finding out the straight line equation. We are going to show the perpendicular relationship, solve some of the problems related to SAT for linear coordinate geometry. Okay. I will also assign something so that you can get going. Okay. In the meanwhile.
You
Okay.
just
We
said
are.
plus
Yes, of course.
you're going to do the practice.
Oh yeah, next class is the prep test, guys. So I think we'll continue this topic next class.
We're gonna review basically in the practice test, we're gonna review everything, right?
Yes, whatever we have covered so far, we are going to solve certain problems, guys.
Okay.
And yes, guys,
wanted to make
please be ready to take printouts. Keep yourself handy, be prepared. If I give you a copy of like a PDF document, please don't say, sir, I'm referring to that, I'm zooming in, I'm not clear. You will be definitely clear because that will be like all word text actually. But you know, I would suggest you take a printout, solve it, attach it, scan it, and send it back. It's not like you did it and you did not send me anything. You will work on that day along with me, and then you will send your copy to me. So please be prepared, whatever calculation you need, everything needs to be shown. You cannot say, sir, I did it half, but I got it. Like, okay, sir, I'm done. I think I'll be able to answer. No, that is not the practice test meant for. I want to see how you solved and concluded with that. I will try if we, I'll be keeping in the SAT standard, but some of the things we'll try to keep like not having any ABCD option. So you will actually have to solve. Some of them will be having, but even if the problem is having ABCD option, you should be actually solving. That is the main purpose. Okay. Please make yourself all your printers and scanners available with you. If you don't know the password, please ask your mom and dad prior in hand. Ma'am, I need this password, that password. I need to take printout. Right on today's next Sunday at 9:30 AM. You should be able to take a printout. Or maybe I will give you 10. I think I'll like giving it on that day. And then we'll continue with, let's say, probably like 10, maybe 11ish we will continue easily. Maybe more than that, I can't say, but that's a practice day. We all have to finish that and then leave the class. Okay. Thank you so much. If you have, yes.
How many questions are the?
Maybe 15, maybe 20.
Okay.
Or maybe 25. Maybe 20.
Okay. Will the stuff we learned today be on the practice thing?
Even if I am including it, maybe like just for a basic thing. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, guys, if you do not have any questions, please feel free to talk. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, sir. Bye. Have a good day. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.